Hi, everybody. It's Robbie from Southern California. And wanted to talk about today setting up your garden. Something really simple. I know a lot of you haven't started yet, and a lot of you are thinking about it and getting ready. Let's talk about setting up. The reason I want to talk about it is I get a lot of people asking me, how long does it take to take care of your garden? Because I have set up multiple gardens. They're everywhere. You know what? That's a really good question. And if I set it up differently than the way I set it up, it could take me hours and hours. And literally, if you set something up in a way where it's going to be too much work, you're not going to want to do it. Eventually, you're going to get tired. It actually doesn't take me that long to do the garden. Let's walk through a few of them. And keep in mind, I have 5 gardens at least. Maybe 6. Gary's got 1 he takes care of. His is bigger, his is different. But mine's kind of like, is it all over the place? No, not anymore. Let's walk through and I'll tell you what way has worked for me. And then you can take that if you need it and use something like that. Take an idea and use it for you. Here is the rainbow garden. This is the newest one and I'm setting it up now. My strawberries are starting. All my seedlings are starting to come up. Hopefully we won't get a freeze or anything that will kill a lot of them. But you know what? If it does, I just restart over. This is one garden. Now, for me to come in here and water all this, and I don't water it every day right now. We're not in summer. In the summer, I probably will hit this with water every day. I'm watering it every 2-3 days. I'm looking at, in this garden, let's step back so you can see it a little better, 5 minutes. You go, what? 5 minutes. I have a hose behind me. I take the garden hose and I literally walk through. Or I take the water that's on the bottom that is coming out of my totes where I compost in place, see down there? And I just hand water it with a scooper. 5 minutes. So I have 5 minutes in here. This is no joke. Now, yes, this wall isn't done yet, but it's still going to be about 5 minutes. That's it. Now let's walk further down and let's go look at the driveway. So now I've got totes all over. Now, I haven't started anything on the driveway. Yes, can you imagine there was nothing here, over a year ago, nothing here. I've got this whole driveway. Now, I do service my whole driveway split in half, all right? Basically, it starts around here, this area. This is kind of the first part. And I have a hose, and I walk down with a hose. Don't fully blast it. I mean, sometimes it's good to fully blast it. It mixes things up in a corner and gets the water in there. But I walk through and I can do this in 5 minutes. I take the hose, I just walk through, and I'm not drowning my plants. I'm hitting them with some water. I'm splashing some water in there. So I've got 5 minutes here, all right? Then we walk down here. Now this one, there's not that many totes down here. I'm going to set up a lot more totes because totes are so easy to take care of. So I'm going to set up more totes. I usually water the wall there. This will all have squash in here. There might be an occasional tomato, but I tend to do a lot of squash. I'm hoping this year to have different types of Italian squash like the zucchini in there. I've got a few different types coming, the seeds. I do the chair garden, and you know my chair garden. Here's the chair garden. So let's say I'm going to go through and water each one of these. Hand watering them with a dipper, 5 minutes. Grabbing the hose and coming through with the hose, I'm done in less than 2 minutes. I'm literally just walking in a circle. I don't throw that water away. You see mosquito larvae in any of that? Dump it under a tree. They will love you for it. And it will take me a little longer if I'm going to bring the hose over here. I mean, to water the truck bed. That's watering the truck bed. I'm not drowning it. I'm not filling up a swimming pool. I'm literally just watering it. When the ground gets damp, it soaks in, waters the plants. We're done. How long did that take me? Of course, it's going to take me longer to hold the camera and try to turn it off. That's it. We're done with this. That's it. And then, of course, it doesn't take long. And then this wall, same thing. I'm walking down with a hose, putting it onto each tote and just running it through. I don't really take care of that. Gary comes and checks his fountains, and he takes care of all that. So he fills them up a little bit and adds to it, and we'll have more plants here. All right, so you're looking at all this, maybe the chair garden. Let's spin around for a minute. My chair garden, which again, look at it and don't say, oh, it looks terrible. I haven't set it up. This is all last year's plants. 5 minutes. So I've got 5 This is part of the 5 minutes. 5, 10, and then we've got the new rainbow garden, 15 minutes. Now the front yard, 5 minutes. We can walk. Let's walk through the bird garden really quick. The bird garden takes me a little longer because I go through that a little differently. I kind of look at things and analyze things. Oh, and here I water them maybe once or twice a week, the papayas. So you can add on another 5 minutes to that if you want, but it doesn't take that long, really. It does not take 5 minutes. And then you've got the bird garden, which is a little bit more stuff to it. We don't water the trees that much. Sometimes Gary drops a hose there and just waters it. Okay, so now we've got this. This one I'm going to say probably takes me 10. There's a lot of containers. I go through and I pull things, and I don't know, let's say 10 minutes, because I'm also coming through and freshening up my solar fountains, which are all over the place. Got fountains everywhere. Really doesn't take that long. So this garden takes me 10 minutes. And then we have the front. Let's go through the front. It really doesn't take long. All right, so now we're in the front garden. I have hoses. Now keep in mind, you say, oh, I don't have hoses. Well, all right, then you'll be watering by hand, but here's a hose here. What do you think? To do the pots? 2 minutes? I don't even know if it takes me that long. Let's say 2 minutes. And then the front yard. We're done. I mean, you're through all my gardens. Let's look down here. So we got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Maybe 30 minutes. Now, 30 minutes. You don't have 30 minutes? I don't do it every day. So I designate certain gardens that I think have to be watered. So we're looking at 15 minutes a day. That's all. And this is just watering. I'm not talking about collecting leaves. Oh, look, my walking onions are walking. Cool. That's how walking onion walks. We're talking 15 minutes a day. For you to grow food, and you're going to grow a lot less than me because I have too much here, but then I'm sharing it a lot with the birds and family and neighbors and stuff. And I freeze some. I'm also going to grow a lot more that I really want to grow. I mean, 15 minutes a day, and I don't water every day. So I'll designate I'm going to do this one and that one, and then I skip the next day. So I'm not even taking care of all this every day. The whole idea of how to do your garden easy, and I'm in the easy, I'm in the right, good, doesn't have to be perfect, good, but easy, is placement. That's the whole idea of this, placement. If I had a tote here and a tote there and a tote down there and one over there and another pot there, if I had this spaced all over the place, halfway down the hill, let's say I have a garden, and I had a garden everywhere, I'd be running around and there's no hose bib there, and I've got to hand water this, and I've got to run and do this, and I've got to go down the hill, which I could. There's been times I've thought about putting some stuff on the hillside. It's going to create more time. It's all on placement. So before you set up your garden, if you're setting up a new garden, and if your time is important to you, then think about how you want to set it up that's going to make things fast and easy. If that's what you want, let me tell you something. I absolutely love to come out in the evening. Yes, I water in the evening. I love to come out here, spend time with the plants, and walk through and look things over and go through my plants. So the thing is, it's nothing nicer than just coming out, relaxing in the garden, or if you want to do it early morning, to be honest, is really the best time. But for me, it just seems like the best time for me is doing it early evening. It doesn't take me that long. So I've got all this, but it would if I started putting everything separate. If I started setting up a whole bunch of stuff there, and then I set up a whole bunch of stuff there. Let's say I put a few totes down there, and a few totes over there, and a few over there, and a couple over there, and it doesn't even have to be totes. It could be in the ground, and then over there, and then I put something here, and then you've got the idea. Then I'm running around chasing everything. If you look, even though things haven't started yet, and that's a project, those totes are not going to be that way. It's all organized in sections. I have separate gardens, and each garden is serviced on its own, and that's what makes it so easy. This chair garden, if you set up something like this and you don't have to have them on chairs, if you've got no squirrels and rabbits, you can put it directly on the ground. You see all those on the ground. You're looking at minutes. literally minutes. And if you want to put an automatic watering system in, or some of you do, that's perfectly fine. I can't. I've got squirrels that come through, things that chew it apart. My friend spent weeks putting his together only to have it all destroyed in a matter of days. So I don't use an automatic water system, but you could if you don't have 5 minutes. But if you were going away, these totes, I've actually gone a week without watering them. I have my holes a little bit further up, so there's always a reserve of water, depending on the weather, and you can get away without watering for a week. I was watering this all winter, like once a week. So I just wanted to touch base on that. As you're setting up, think about placement if you're looking for that. Think about making things easy and where you're going to set it up and how you're going to set it up. And that can make a world of difference if you're going to continue to garden. Because if you're dragging a hose around or dragging water cans around and you're hand watering and it's taking you hours, you'll get tired and you'll say it's not worth it and you'll give it up. Let's just think about that. Think about how you want to set it up. Of course, you're going to set it up the way it's going to work for you. And this is the method that works for me. So that's all I wanted to touch on today. I'm going to say when I do all my gardens, I really don't spend more than 30 minutes coming out here to hand water with a hose. If I was hand watering with a watering can, it would take me longer, but then I would designate each area to have its own water bucket or something there that I could dip in and hand water. So you can set things up always to make things easier if you just step back, look at it, and decide what will work for you. And with that, have a wonderful day. And don't forget to eat what you grow. Bye-bye, everybody.